Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 1276B, and today's date is May 10th, 2017, and the title of the episode is, The Plan Has Been Revealed, and Everyone Needs to Brace for the Impact. Let's get into the economic collapse, political and geopolitical news. Now, I want to go through what happened with Comey right now, and what the deep state is feeling at this point, because they were blindsided. Then I want to get into who Trump actually met with and start to put all the pieces of this puzzle together so we can get a picture of what he is doing and what his plan is. Now, James Comey, as we know, he was fired. Now, the corporate media is out there trying to create this propaganda story that James Comey was ready and prepared to ask more money from the Department of Justice. And they're saying, well, this is why Comey was fired, because he was ready to expand the Russian probe. Comey has been investigating this for quite a while. Actually, there was really no investigation because there was no collusion that they can put their finger on. They had no evidence. Yates, Clapper, Comey, they had nothing. Absolutely nothing. So they're trying to create this story that he was going to ask for money. And we can see already the Department of Justice spokeswoman flatly denied what the New York Times reported, that Comey was asking for money, saying that no, he did not ask anybody for any type of funds whatsoever. And again, do they have the paperwork to back this up? Because when you ask for funds, you need to fill out the paperwork. You just don't go up and say, hey, can I have more money? And they say, sure, how much you need? No, it doesn't work like that. You need the paperwork. And this is where it falls apart once again. Just like when they're trying to prove the collusion between Trump and Russia, where is the proof? They can't produce any. And this is the problem, because if they had the proof, don't you think they would have just put it out there and they would have said, okay, we've got him. But they can't find any after all of these months. Now, it's funny. The Clinton emails were produced right in front of them, and they didn't even want to look at it. Now, Senator Grassley is backing up Trump, telling the media to suck it up and move on. McCain, well, he is trying to do whatever he possibly can to stop Trump from what he's doing. He's part of the deep state. Remember, the deep state, that has the Democrats and the Republicans within it. It's not just the Democrats. It's just not the Republicans. It's the Democrats, Republicans, and, of course, the non-elected individuals who are in the background behind the curtain. And McCain was out there. He's trying to stop Trump from doing the offshore drilling, and he was trying to put together a mini coup to stop all of this, but it didn't work out. And the reason Trump is doing all this is because he's preparing everything for this country to be independent from all the other countries. Because he understands once the dollar is no longer a reserve currency, it's going to be very difficult to get supplies into this country. Now, after all this hype about Russian collusion and Trump working with Russia, well, Trump is finally working with Russia. And this whole entire scheme that Trump has been working on to get rid of the deep state, the central bank, he has been colluding. Not in a way that the deep state wants you to think. He's been working with Russia, China, yes, North Korea, and the Philippines and other Asian nations. And I'll explain why in just a minute. Now, Sergei Lavrov, foreign minister of Russia, he met with Trump. Now, this was planned before Comey was fired. So Comey was fired, and Sergei Lavrov, he is in Washington, D.C., where Trump has been talking about Syria, North Korea, Afghanistan, and many other areas. And they decided that they're going to work together on safe zones in Syria. They're going to be working with Russia to make sure the planes don't fly in the de-escalation zones. The United States is going to work with Russia on the peace talks in Astana and Geneva. And After the meeting with Sergei Lavrov, Trump decided to call in one of the elites of the deep state and sit him down and speak to him about what is about to happen. Now, when I say speak to him, he's warning him that the deep state better back off, better get prepared, because you're going down. Who did Trump meet with? He met with Kissinger. And he met with Kissinger to tell him what is about to happen. And he met with him right after he met with Russia, Sergei Lavrov, which is very interesting. Now, why did he meet with Kissinger? Why is he actually working with all these other countries? Because he's preparing for this system to come down. He's preparing to work with all of these nations going forward. So we see that Trump met with Kissinger. He's laying out exactly what's going to happen to the deep state, telling the deep state, listen, you are finished at this point. It's enough. Now, does that mean the deep state's going to listen? No. So he's making sure right now that he has all the plans set up for when this economy comes down. Why does he need to bring the economy down? How does the deep state run? How does the central bank run? They are running on this system that we have today, where the central bank creates free money out of thin air. They use this to control the world through sanctions and other methods. If he cuts off the central bank, if he cuts off this currency system and brings it down, what happens to the deep state? What happens to their control? It disappears in a blink of an eye. They can't do anything at that point. That is the source of all their power. And this is what he is doing. Now, remember, Trump is working with Duterte. Duterte is meeting with President Xi from China. Why? Because Duterte and his country, they're joining China's One Belt, One Road initiative, Silk Road. And they're going to be joining not just with China, but with other Asian nations. That is including North Korea. I'll get to that in a moment. Now, with South Korea, the deep state has a problem because Moon Jae-in, well, he got elected and he would like to visit with Kim Jong-un in North Korea. He also wants to discuss the deployment of the THAAD system with the U.S., and he really doesn't want it there. And there have been protests where people are saying, we don't want this system in our country. And he's pledged to work for peace in the Korean Peninsula. So we can see right now that North Korea is along for the ride here. North Korea has just shown satellite images that, yes, we know where all these THAAD missile systems are. Here they are. We found them. And look, we know what you're doing. China doesn't want the THAAD system there. Russia doesn't want the THAAD system there. Trump purposely came out and said, listen, South Korea needs to pay for the THAAD system. Now, McCasters, he kind of smoothed things over and said, no, we have a deal. Now, Trump was very angry with McCasters. He did not like him speaking out and overriding what he said. And McCasters is not really on Trump's team. He's just there. Most likely he'll be fired too. Because he understands that Moon Jae-in, he doesn't want the system there either. And what he was trying to do was say, listen, if South Korea can't pay for the system, we'll just take it back. But McCasters stepped in for the deep state and basically said, oh no, we have an agreement. We already made this deal. And Trump wants to undo this deal, trying to make it easier for the South Korean leader to get rid of the THAAD system. So what is the plan here then? What are they doing in North Korea? Now, first of all, the deep state, They've been trying to get us into war with North Korea. They've been trying to get us into war with Iran. They've been trying to get us into war with Syria and Russia. All of it is failing. And this is why Trump, on purpose, had the ships not actually go to North Korea. Eventually, he had to have the USS Carl Vinson go to North Korea. And this is why the corporate media was so confused about it, because it was done on purpose. This is why he brought Xi Jinping down to Mar-a-Lago to speak with him, because he knows in the White House there's listening devices all over the place, and they couldn't have a private conversation. Now, the North Korean delegation will attend a large multilateral economic summit in Beijing next week. Well, that's very interesting right off the bat. So we have South Korea, the Philippines, and North Korea all talking to China right now. And why are they talking to China? Well, they're talking about the One Belt, One Road initiative. North Korea is going to join. And China invited them. And they want full international cooperation with North Korea. Well, that's kind of strange, because all we've been hearing about war talk. The corporate media has been trying to tell us that China is getting prepared to do something. Yes, they are. But not in the way the deep state wants us to think, because they want war. Trump, behind the scenes, is setting up economic deals. Remember, the TPP, the TTIP, dead in the water. What trade deal is out there? The Silk Road. Is the United States part of that? Not right now, but we will be. Why will we be? Because Trump has already set it up. Remember I said he's been working with Duterte, with China, North Korea, and the deep state has no idea what is going on. So this is Trump's plan all along. He knew eventually that the system would have to be brought down, that no one would trade with us anymore because we were not the reserve currency. And he realized that eventually the United States would have to be part of this. So this whole entire thing with North Korea and its nuclear weapons, that was the deep state. Trump had no intentions ever to invade North Korea, to go in and get Kim Jong-un. This is why he never spoke about red lines, never spoke about Kim Jong-un has to be removed. Yes, he called him a bad guy, played in with what the deep state wanted, kept them at bay while he worked this deal with the other nations. And right now, the United States, with North Korea, with the Philippines, with other nations, they're all going to be joining the Silk Road. All of this is being done behind the scenes. And we can see right now that the deep state, they're trying to stop this. They don't want this to happen. Trump understands he needs to do this because, again, we won't get trade. We will not get products. So after the collapse, we need to be a part of this because there is no TPP, there is no TTIP, and the country needs to survive after the collapse. All this is being done for afterwards. Now, the deep state is still pushing their agenda. They're out in the South China Sea saying that we're still going to be using the right of navigation. We'll be sailing past the South China Sea, and we don't care what China says. Well, the reason why they're out there saying all of this right now is because the Trump administration is going to scale back the freedom of navigation operations which the Navy is doing right now. Because he has a deal with China, and he promised them that, listen, I'm going to scale this back. And this is exactly what he is doing. Now, what we're also seeing is that Russia and Syria and the United States, they are now working together in Syria. They're working together with Afghanistan. to get rid of the Islamic State. I'm not talking about the deep state. I'm talking about getting rid of the terrorist group that the CIA, the deep state, has been in control of, and the central bank. And this is why we can see that there are troops going out to these areas. It's all in coordination with Russia right now. Now, something very interestingly happened where Trump, his administration, is offering a reward of up to $10 million for information about the whereabouts of the military leader of the Syria's al-Qaeda affiliate Nusra Front. They're hunting him down right now. For real. Not the way the CIA has told us they killed, the al-Qaeda leader 18 times, or Obama killing bin Laden with that fake mission out in the Middle East, even though we know bin Laden died in 2011 of kidney failure. And we can see right now that all of this is being done for a specific reason. Now, what I'm seeing right now is that Trump is going to follow through on most of all of his promises because he has nothing to lose. He's out there saying, listen, I got rid of Comey. I tried to negotiate with the deep state. I tried to work with them. I tried to bring the economy down in a manner where it wouldn't hurt as many people as it's going to hurt. And the deep state, they just didn't want to work with us at all. So we needed to take action at this point. And this is exactly what he's doing. He's taking action. He's moving the agenda forward. And I think from this point on, I don't think we're going to see any of the things that we saw in the past. I think he tried to do everything in a manner where it would all work out and everything would be fine. But I think what happened was they realized that the deep state was never going to give up. And you can see that they will never, ever give up. And the only way to get rid of them is to cut off their funding. And the only way to do that is to bring the economy down, collapse the system, get rid of the central bank, and basically restart everything. But when everything is restarted, it's not going to be the way we remember it. Things are going to change dramatically. This country is going to change dramatically. Things will never be the same. And I think people are going to have to get used to this change. And many people are going to have a very difficult time getting used to this change that is coming. And we've had changes in the past. Many countries have had changes in the past. It is just the time for the United States to have this major change. And it is coming. And this is why you need to be ready and prepared. This is why you need to get ready for what is about to happen. Because when it does hit, it's going to be very chaotic. And up until that point, we're going to see so many crazy things that we've never seen before. Things are going to be all over the place. It's going to be so chaotic that it's going to make your head spin. But keep your focus. Your focus is to prepare and get ready for the system to come down. Because they are already pushing the deep state out. They're getting prepared and ready to bring it down, the whole entire system. And your objective is to get ready for when it comes down. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.